Office Hours with Dr. G. I'm your host, Dr. G, and I'm so glad that you can keep our appointment. The youngest of 7 children, tonight's guest, Roxsaine Barnes Bey, was born in southern New Jersey. She was raised in the church, but secretly drawn to the esoteric and metaphysics. Struggling with shyness and stuttering into adulthood, she has been able to overcome these impediments through acting, dancing, teaching, or expressing her opinion in her no-holds-barred social media posts. After she and her children moved to Delaware, Roxanne met Dr. G, who eventually became their pastor and her mentor. Dr. G's controversial spiritual awakening in 2010 didn't surprise Roxanne the way it did the majority of members who fled the ministry. In fact, she saw the impending ministry shakeup and has to this day stood by Dr. G, who she calls affectionately Mom. Both Pisceans, many actually think they are really mother and daughter due to a strong resemblance and similar characteristics. I'm no longer active in the church, but still being called upon to perform her beautiful praise dance routines at services and funerals. Roxanne eventually began to openly display and talk about her suppressed spiritual gifts of healing, clairvoyance, astral travel, intuition, and more. She now fully embraces her spiritual gifts and higher self and has become an outspoken advocate for truth and freedom of expression. Roxanne is unapologetic about where she stands in this regard. She is an avant-garde trailblazer when it comes to fashion, which she creatively designs and puts together from head to toe. Often mistaken for being much younger than her almost 50 years through bodybuilding and correcting her diet, Roxanne has developed her physique into one which I call fierce. When it comes to hair, she is known for wearing styles that make you look twice. In fact, she's been rocking the Viola Davis woman king look long before she knew about the recent release movement. An Army veteran, Roxsaine Barnes Bey is a proud mother of 4 and glam mother of 7. And as I said, I am so proud to call this young woman one of my spiritual daughters. And I want you to help me welcome to Office Hours with Dr. J, Roxsaine Barnes Bey. And we're going to be discussing Unleashing the Warrior You, the End of Suppression. Now, welcome to Office Hours. Roxanne, how are you, dear? How are you?
I'm doing well.
Well, thank you so much for deciding to come on. I've been wanting to get you on here for quite some time because you are such an amazing woman, and I'm proud. Look, like I said, when you know, and you call me mom, and like I said, most people it's like, is that your daughter?
Yep.
We over the years we've been out hanging out together, and we both Pisceans and so forth, and so we have a similar taste, although I'm a little bit older than you now. I mean, well, I was always a little bit older than you, but you know, as I grow older, I have to kind of change the way I present myself. But you, my dear, are still fabulous. Still turning his lip. Listen, turn a little bit to the left and right. I want the folks to see what you working with. I want them to see that I wanted to see that style that you have going for you today, which is we call it the woman king look, but you didn't even know about the woman king.
I sure didn't.
Right.
I sure didn't.
Listen, it is a privilege and an honor. You guys, listen, when I say this is one of my daughters, I'm serious. And we're tight. Matter of fact, we're so tight. We're about an hour ago. Where did we come? Where did we came from?
We went to go see the Woman King.
So we wanted to be able to talk about. We want to be able to talk about it. When we got on here, and honestly have an honest dialogue about that and other things, especially in light of the fact that there's so much negativity, on social media with regard to the movie, calls to boycott the movie and so forth. And we loved it. I think we loved it.
I sure did. Oh my goodness.
And not only that, but I want you to Yeah, it was powerful. But before we get into a whole lot, we're going to talk about you and unleashing the warrior and so forth. But tell me a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your experience with. I don't know when it was, a few years or so ago. How long ago it was? You met a stranger
Mm-hmm.
who told you something about yourself. Can you share that with us? And then we're going to go backwards and we'll go back into your childhood. But talk about what this stranger, because I think it's relevant to the movie we saw today.
Well, I encountered a gentleman one day. Um, I was waiting for the bus before I got my own car. I was waiting for the bus. I was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he was walking by and he did a double take and he backtracked and came back and asked me, "Do you know who you are?" Just like that. And I said, "Yes." He said, "Are you sure? Do you know who you are?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, I don't think so. So he began to tell me who I was in another lifetime. He said I was the leader of an all female army. He told me I had been stabbed in my stomach and that there was a mark on my stomach. There is a mark on my stomach, which is my birthmark. He wouldn't have known that because he doesn't know me. He told me that I was fierce, I was a warrior, I was a force to reckon with. And again, that I was the leader of an all female army. And I'm standing there looking at this man like, okay. So if you haven't watched The Woman King yet, but Viola Davis is the leader of an all lady army.
Right.
She rocks the mohawk, the muscles that I have, that I was teased about for years. She's a force to reckon with. She does not play. She comes to take care of business. He even added that we beheaded men. And I'm like, a woman's army fighting a man's army? Like, yes, yes. And to see that today, almost 10 years ago, Mom, did I not almost come up out of my seat?
Yes.
As soon as the movie comes on, it's exactly what he spoke. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
That's that's interesting. And a lot of times, I learned that a lot of times the birthmark may be a mark of a past life event. Maybe like I said, the way we went out. The scar may come, or the mark has some significance to a past life. And
Right.
for that man to tell you, a stranger, a total stranger, that you were, the leader of an all female army, that you were fierce, that you had, and even to go so far as to talk about the identifying mark that you have, that you were stabbed in the stomach, and you yourself said you were born with a mark in the area of the stomach that
Yeah.
could be indicative of what was a stab wound. So unfortunately, in the church, we didn't get a chance to explore things at that level. Although when you were a member of the ministry, you were having experiences. We were talking a little bit in the car about some of the things before we parted earlier this evening. We were talking a little bit about some of the things that happened even while you were in the church. But you were you were already in the church before you came to Praise to the King, and you had, like many unfortunate young people in the church, you had experience negative experiences in the church. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because we're not going to dwell on it too much, but I think it's important to note, because sometimes what we experience causes us to either go forward or to retreat in who we are. And it may have been
Right.
significant in some of your, like the stuttering, the shyness, and so forth. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was a victim of molestation by a pastor, our pastor, um, not once, but twice by the same pastor. And I know you're wondering how by the same pastor. Well, when it first occurred, I went to my parents. My mother was a deaconess, my father was a deacon. And I was told that it didn't happen. It didn't happen. The words that were told to me was, that man doesn't want you. I'm a child. That man don't want you. And I just couldn't understand why that was said to me instead of handling what had occurred. Wasn't believed. I was told by one of my parents that I was going to keep quiet. You're not going to say anything. We're not going to the police. We don't want our name out in the neighborhood. You're going to keep quiet. And they continued to go to the same church under the ministry of the same pastor. He came to me and told me to my face, your parents do not love you, because if they did, they wouldn't still be at this church. Okay. And they stayed. He did it a second time. He molested me a second time. I went back to my parents. Instead of going to the cops, they had this thing where they were going to call him on the phone. One parent was going to be in one room, one parent was going to be in the other room, and call him on the phone, and they were going to catch him. So I was on the phone with my mother. My father was in another room, and he was talking to me because he didn't know my parents were on the phones, and he was saying things to me that I had already told my parents that he had said. And my mother says, we got you. Get down here now. Not we're going to the police station. They had him come to our home to apologize. Apologize. And his apology was, whatever you think I've done to you, I'm sorry. Whatever you think. Not, I'm sorry for what I've done to you, and then tell me what he's done. Whatever you think I've done to you. And that's how I've lived my life for a long time. I lived within myself. I didn't go to adults for help for anything. I learned how to be my own army. I learned how to be my own help. My parents provided clothes, a roof over my head, and food. But I did not go to anyone for any type of, can we talk? No. I talked to myself. I talked my way into being strong. I talked myself out of being sad. I took care of myself as far as emotionally and spiritually and mentally. And I knew how to wear a smile. I was a pro.
And a lot of people, yeah, a lot of us do that. And if, before we go any further, y'all, please, and I didn't say this, please click that like, please click that share, because we're going to talk about some stuff. Like, some of you have been asking for some other stuff, some metaphysical stuff and everything. And but we need to get past some of the hurdles of which are probably blocking even some of you all to, reaching your fullest potential. You probably, and many of us are suppressed because of the experiences that we've had. So please make sure you press that like and the share, because somebody that needs to be on this live, that needs to hear this, might have a question when we get towards the end for my daughter, but I need you all to, my regulars, it's a lot more of you than I see right now. Please tell them y'all need to log in, and y'all need to hear what Dr. G and her guest, her daughter, are talking about tonight, because we're gonna expose some of the gritty stuff, but we also want to talk about what happens when, as she said, you work through, do your shadow work, do some of the things that and I'm gonna tell you, Roxanne, that by some standards you are like out the box, you are you are like the, now I don't even want to say Grace Jones, but you've been known you've been known to wear some things and to present yourself in such a way folks have to go like, wow. I mean, you have your own style. And when I met you, you were still in that suppression. You were shy. You stuttered a lot, but you were an awesome dancer. And as a result of that, you became head of the I guess you were head of, I know you were head of praise dance team. You danced yourself for a while, and then you put together a team with the young people. And and there's some videos out there on YouTube of you dance. I saw a couple of them today, from you 14 years ago. Wow. Dancing at what was then Praise to the King. But when you danced or when you did the skits, you would put on skits. I mean, you would transform yourself because you're an actress too, and you would transform yourself, and you would look like a bum with a beard and everything, and liquor land. You could transform yourself into so many different characters, and then get into character. Do you think that you were so skilled in that because of growing up, having to be somebody that you weren't?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Like I said, I wore a smile. I could fool the best of them, and I would be screaming on the inside, and no one heard me. So when it was time for me to dance, and I like to dance so much because I didn't have to talk. Because when I talked, I would stutter. So I would put my all into my dancing. And again, I didn't have to talk. I could tell the story through body movement. So that just made it even much more better for me. But yes, the characters that I would pick in the songs, and mind you, I didn't get the songs on my own. I would hear them in my sleep. And I would learn the songs in my sleep. So while I was asleep, I would play the song. And that's how I would learn it, word for word. And when I would learn the words, that's when I would go into character. And only then I had to learn every word. Then I would go into character. And I felt like for those who can't hear as they're watching me perform, I need to do it in such a way that they can't hear me, but they can see. They can see and they can feel it. So my hurt, along with my healing, because that's where my healing began. And I did not even realize it. Every time I would dance, more and more hurt would come up out of me. More and more hurt would be taken off of me. Every single time I would dance. There were times that I would go, like I praise to the King, I would go downstairs and I would boo-hoo on the floor. I would go in the bathroom and I would boo-hoo because more and more was coming up out of me. When I danced to Wounded and Winning by Pastor Wayne Rudd.
Wayne Rudd, yeah.
That song until this day is such a powerful piece for me because I remember getting beat. I remember no one caring what happened to me, not caring about myself. I didn't care about myself anymore because no one else cared. Since I was that big, no one cared. So my dancing was my therapy. It was my therapy. It's a love until this day. I still dance. I'm not ever going to stop dancing, but the therapy that it brought me, I didn't need to go to a doctor. I didn't need to tell anyone anything. That dancing brought about so much healing. And for me to address, because of the things that it had me do in my dances, it was having me to face that mirror work, the shadow work they call it. I call it a mirror as well, to look at myself and to understand you've been through this, but you're not going to stay in it.
Right.
But you're not going to stay in it.
I was watching a video of you today that's on YouTube, like I said, from 14 years ago. And I don't know who was playing the devil, but you were dancing to everything that the devil stole.
My daughter, Abri.
No, it was a boy. It was a little boy. I could see. It was not a Brie. It was not a Brie in the video. But you were and I was thinking about when, in our Moorish, as Moors, we talk about how our land, we know our land has been taken, everything's been, usurped and so forth. And you were snatching back your gold. You get like a gold pocket, everything. And he kept coming. That devil kept coming back. And when you thought you had all your stuff, you take it again. But you ended up, and I, like I said, even looking at that today, it made me think more of, even as us as Moors, reclaiming our birthright and all of that, taking it back, not laying down and say, "Oh, you got it," and we're not going to, there's nothing that we can do about it. But you were able to overcome a lot, and you brought a lot to what I was doing. And unfortunately, even back then, I didn't see things completely the way, of course, I see it now. I wasn't studying more science. I wasn't as attuned to my own. What happened, my intuitive abilities and things like that kicked in even more after I had the awakening, than they did before. So you knew that there were things that were going on, and we don't have to go into it, but you knew things were going on. And so, there were people there that absolutely didn't like you because
for no reason at all. Oh, well, yeah, it was a reason. They knew I could see.
Yeah,
right. They knew I could see.
Yeah, and they knew, and so at that, and what happens sometimes, when somebody comes to you and tells you something about somebody that you trust, because you have blind faith in people, and somebody else comes, like you got to kind of like, maybe you have to put yourself on guard, or why are they telling me this, or why would they say that? Right. But when you understand now that there's some of us that do have the ability to discern what's going on, and then straight out some of the things folks do in front of you that they wouldn't do in front of their pastor, and they wouldn't think that somebody was going to tell of the dastardly deeds that they did. But we're gonna move out of that, because when I woke up, all hell broke loose. So,
Mom.
Yeah, I didn't know half the things that were being said, but I knew that you probably know, some of the things that were being said about my transition. And, I don't know, I guess I was everything but what I had been, just prior to that. Now you can tell the people, I was a preacher back then, and a teacher. And I think I have respect just about everywhere I went. I mean, the pulpit was my Clark Kent phone booth type thing. Like, I'd be mild mannered until I
was your Michael Jackson moment.
Yeah, and then I'd be somebody else. But when I had this awakening, I was just as adamant about I couldn't go back to that. And to this day, have never turned back in 11 years, practically 11 years. Of this path of enlightenment. But I appreciate the fact that, because I misunderstood you even at one point, and you left the ministry, though, you came back. And when they were gone, you came back.
My body left. My heart never left.
Right. But you were not, I didn't see because it was a lot of stuff going on that I didn't see. And I didn't realize that I had a seer, somebody who could, see what was going on and had no ulterior motives, because sometimes people have ulterior motives when they want to
see.
Yeah, they just want to, they just want to stir up trouble. But you started putting stuff on Facebook. Like I said, y'all so far, like I said, Roxanne used to stutter so bad. If you would kind of like stand and kind of wait for the rest of the word, the sentence to come out, because and that in and of itself is indicative of your growth out of that suppression, out of that, you don't give a flying, what nobody thinks about you anymore.
At all. I got in front of the mirror. I was determined. I said, I know that I have something people need to hear. And I can't keep talking with my head down, talking like this. That's not going to work. I couldn't keep not saying it either, because that was my thing. I would make an excuse in a minute why I could not give a speech, or why I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to be on the platform. I got in front of a mirror, And every day I would say certain sentences that I know the letters would give me trouble. And I still have trouble with S's and F's. I still do. But I was determined. I have something to say and I'm going to say it. And Roxanne, you are not going to stutter. You are not. And I got in that mirror and I would talk and I would talk and I would talk. And I started hearing myself. It's like I was standing on the outside of myself and I would hear myself. And I wasn't repeating words. I wasn't stumbling. I just couldn't believe it. And I'm standing there like, that's me. Because I used to, it was bad. It was bad. I used to put my finger here. I used to tap my leg. I used to pat my foot, or I just wouldn't talk at all. Now, if I stutter, I'll stutter. Oh, well, it's a part of who I am, but I don't stutter like I used to.
That is true. But I have seen you doing, I've seen you do some, I mean, I don't know if you could just do it off the cuff, but you are an amazing rapper. You and you know, we didn't put that. You sang in, you know, you sang in the band. You rap, like, you know, I mean, I've seen you do you on Facebook whole, you know, rap thingies recently, not to like
I don't stutter when I talk.
Yeah, during the lockdown, you were doing, remember you were doing
DOS effects.
What did you call it?
DOS effects.
DOS effects.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's the name of the group.
Okay. Well, I mean, you were rapping and all that. I was like, listen at her. And
I don't stutter when I sing. I don't stutter when I rap. Because there's a tempo. There's a tempo. There's a beat.
Okay.
I don't know what's I don't know. I don't stutter when I sing or rap. Bump, skickety, bump, hump. I got that up, pump, because I can feed fire, fold the diddly bow. So here I come, Sir Peter Piper. I'm hyper than Pinocchio's nose, because I'm a supercalifragilistic tic-tac-pro. I got my whoopsie daisy. Now you got the crazy. See, there you go. Oh, my. I'm feeling high. My money's gone. I'm not stuttering. I'm all alone. Too much to see. The world keeps turning. Oh, what a day. What a day. What a day.
See, yeah.
I feel like a different Roxanne. This is even helping me like you would not believe, Mom. You would not believe. Wow.
Because I know it is your time. I know that, you know, you have some opportunities. I know you were looking for at one point, you know, I thought you were going to move to Cali or somewhere, or you were hoping to pursue your acting career. And I know there's some, you know, you know some folks. You know, I won't, you know, unless you mention them, I won't. Yeah, but you know, you have, I believe, the opportunities, even at, you know, at the state, like at your age. To me, you know, you remind me of somebody in their 20s or early 30s or very early 30s. But we know that, you know, the 50 is coming, is approaching soon.
I'm so excited about turning the big 50. Like, excited. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'll be 50 in March. Wow.
Y'all, she don't look it. She don't look it. She don't act it. But you know, like I said, she raps, she sings, she acts. Matter of fact, in the Army, you were. It's this now. Forgive me, Rocky, because I want to say, you know, if folks see you, like, you know, like I said, you're like a bodybuilder when folks see you. So if I say that you were a pipe fitter, which you were, mm-hmm, somebody might take that off color.
Right. No.
Right?
I was a plumber and pipe fitter in the Army. 51K, Charlie and Company. Hoorah. Pipe fitter. Underground. Yeah. That type of pipes.
You used to handle the building. You used to handle the, you know, like the maintenance at the church. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, you never looked like I was trying to get you hooked up with contractors and so forth. They look at you and think because what you
I
look
don't know
like
what I'm doing.
that you didn't know what you were doing,
Yep.
but you know
I do.
yeah,
These
so look,
hands, these hands are blessed, and I know it for a fact. But you're right. They will look at me but it's okay. It's
it's
okay.
okay. Your
Yep.
time, your time. I believe your time has come. I believe your time is here,
I do
and your
too.
time is
And I
now.
received that.
Yeah, but one of the things that I'm excited to about you is where you're moving in your spiritual growth. And some of the things I don't know if I read it to Mama Callie. I think I did, and to a couple of other folks. You made a post, was it last month, about one of many, I don't even want to call it dreams because it's not that it's a dream. It was an astral travel moment. And could you share with the viewers, with the audience, what you saw? Because you had another one you said more recently, but the
Mhm.
one that just, I'm saying this is a movie. This needs to
Wow.
be made into a movie. This one right here. Tell us about that astral travel that you did last month, and what you experienced.
So the young man that I was dating at the time, I don't know who he was in my astral traveling. I cannot tell you who he was. He had invented a car that rode on water. It went off the street and went into water. And I was on the hood of his car. I don't know why. But I was riding, I was laid back on the hood. He's going through the water. And there was a dark skinned lady in the back seat. Don't know who she was. So as we're in the water, he's going to different parts of the water. And I see something afar off. And I say to him, hey, babe, go over there. And he's like, huh? So he leans out the window some, and I lean over on the hood and I say, go over there. I see something. He goes over and I jump off the hood of the car. And I'm looking, and there are like these pods of leaves. But in each pod, there's a newborn baby. And with each newborn baby, there is an umbilical cord that's going down into the water. And it goes way down into the water because I can actually look down into the water. There's a clear box with all the cords, umbilical cords, going into this one box. But mind you, when I stand up in the water, I don't sink. Now remember, I can look down into the water and see the clear box with the umbilical cords. But as I stand, I'm only 5'4". I stand tall in the water. I don't sink, nothing. So as I'm looking down into the water, I'm looking back at him like, what is this? Mind you, some of the babies were not babies, they were adults. They were all in the fetal position in these leaf-like pods. Um, and one of the umbilical cords I kind of pulled on, and it woke up one of the babies. It started screaming. So that made all of the babies cry. And I'm looking at my boyfriend like, what in the world have we come upon? And he's looking at me. So he makes a phone call. Well, we make a phone call. And it's like this nature resource, type reserve number, um, nature reserve. And these people come and they come like that. How they get there so fast, we don't know. So we were thinking they were watching us afar off and saw that we have come upon what they were doing, their experiment. They came in the hazmat suits, the rubber diving suits, got into the water. And as him and I are coming out of the water, we hear one of the divers say to one of the other divers, just act like you don't know what it is. And I look at him and he puts his finger over my mouth like, don't you say nothing. He says to the other diver, just act like you don't know nothing. One of the divers comes out of the water, gets on the phone, whomever he's talking to, he says, oh, no, no, no. We put a lot of money into this. This is what these babies are going to cost. and more for the adults. But they weren't adults. They were babies that had been left there. And I'm looking at my boyfriend in the dream, and he's looking at me like, what in the world? And I'm looking off into the water like, so they're growing babies? They're growing babies. And I don't know if you know, Mom, but there is a YouTube video about babies being grown in a bag.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yes, babies and animals. Artificially, they're being grown in a bag. That blew my mind as well. And I'm like, okay, so what was this? What's going on? And as I awakened out of the dream, I just started writing. And until this day, that dream is in front of me, like it's every day to me now. So I don't know if that's what they're doing. And
what kind of what nationality were these babies?
Some were Caucasian. The adults looked like they had a little bit of melanin, but not like me. But all the babies were Caucasian. They all looked alike, all cookie cutters of each other. But again, the box was so deep into the water, and all the umbilical cords went into the one box. So that was I want to say, like the feeding, the placenta, okay, if you would say. I don't know what was in the box because I couldn't really see, but it was really deep. And again, I didn't drown. I didn't sink. I stood there like I was standing on ground, and I was looking, but I was standing in the water. And when I say amazed, like, okay, y'all keep showing me this stuff. Why me? What is it you want me to do with this information? What is it that I'm going to see next? So it's just some of these astral traveling encounters, they blow my mind as well. They blow my mind.
You've had remember you were telling me about the one where you were getting codes, or you were getting initials that you eventually searched out, and
they're real.
Right.
They're real codes. They're real initials to laboratories. One here in Newark, Delaware. For a minute, I was like, okay, they got microphones in my house somewhere. They got cameras in my house somewhere. They do they know who I am? Because I've been to the 5D world before. I've been a teacher in a classroom of aliens.
Talk about that. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, I've been to a classroom. I was appointed to be the teacher in that classroom. Why I was chosen, I don't know, but I was. And every student had a head of a beast, a head of an animal. From it's up, it was an animal, a chicken, a horse, a dog, a cat, an ostrich, a hippo, an elephant, but their bodies were human. And I was using, and I did not stutter at all. And I was using words that if you told me to repeat them, I can't repeat them because I don't know where they were coming from. But I was a teacher, and I was talking codes as well. I was talking about some type of experiments and chemical warfare and all types of stuff. And yeah, I was chosen for that as well. And I'm just amazed that whatever I've been assigned to, well, take that back because I do know my assignment, but what I've been chosen to do on a bigger platform, it's not human-like. This is mediocre to what they want me
to do. Yeah.
Yes. So when I encounter humans, say it like that, I'd be bored. I'll be bored sometimes. I actually like going into the different realms and seeing what's there because I feel at home. I don't feel like I'm a stranger or I'm an imposter or I'm on territory where I'm trespassing. No, they know me. They greet me. They welcome me. Come on. They're having me to stand before a class of animal heads. So I feel at home in other realms. I'm at home. Here, I'm not at home. This
Now,
may looks
you've
like
been
home.
a teacher here. You've been a teacher though in this realm though. So you've taught
Right.
biology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So actually, so you see the parallel in that. But and you did say you shared with me something that happened recently. I thought that was interesting. The cloud.
I was sitting on the cloud, and those who know that they have an assignment and refuse to walk it out, to do what they're called to do, I was literally, it's like I had the go-go gadget arm. You know, remember that cartoon? He push his arm and it will extend. I had a go-go gadget arm, and I could reach down from the clouds, pick up a little human being and talk to them. And I was telling I was telling them, you need to get it together. You're on assignment. This is your journey. This is what you're called to do. You you need to get on board. And I would look at them a certain way. Do you hear me? And they would respond, yes. And I'll put them back down. And then I'll find somebody else that I recognize, another fallen angel, another earthly angel, another light worker, divine feminine, divine masculine. Why aren't you doing your job? What are you waiting for? So I've come to the realization that there are those who know their assignment, but they won't receive it. They don't want the heartache from it. They don't want the loneliness that comes with it. They don't want the being shunned, because that comes with your assignment. You are looked at like you're crazy. Um, you get a lot of friends, and then you lose all those friends. You get a lot of people that admire you, and then you have those who don't admire you. Um, it can be very, very lonely, very lonely. I've been called a hermit a lot, a lot. And I'm okay with that because I know that there are things that I have to focus on. Um, that's part of my assignment, and it takes a lot of quiet time. So, but there are a lot of people walking around that refuse to accept their assignment, and they just going to keep going in circles until they accept it and walk it out. That's how it goes. So I've accepted mine. I've accepted mine.
Well, I like the fact that you remind me in a roundabout way because he's a lot more brash. But for instance, Rod Hayes, and I don't know if you're familiar with him, but no, you're not. But he's so vocal, and he came and he presents himself in a way that you would think this brother has no filters. He just, he's brash. He dumb dress up. He da 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 da. But yet he's so profound and so knowledgeable, and so when folks, he's got a love hate relationship. Some folks love him. Some people folks hate him.
Yeah.
A lot of the older, more mature sisters that I hear from love him. They resonate with what he's saying because he's talking about, the Big Mama, and the woman, we are the women, what we should be doing, and so forth. But you, on the other hand, and have come in a way, you didn't come like looking like Miss Polly purebred, and you don't, put yourself out to be, some great prophet or prophetess. You wear hip boots and 6-inch heels, and you design. Matter of fact, what you have on, is that one of some of your work?
Yes, these are my butterfly wings. I'm in my butterfly stage. I've come out of the cocoon, and these are my butterfly wings.
Oh, okay. So I mean, you are known for taking something and redesigning pieces by adding. I mean, I've seen you. I don't know how you do those boots. You had those boots that look like you're walking on nothing,
Oh
and
yeah,
then you change the
illusion heels.
illusion heels, and then you totally redid them. I'm like, how did she do that?
When
Seeing
when I was 8 years old in second grade, I'll never forget. That's when I first realized how much I love fashion. My parents were poor. My father was a bridge builder, heavy highway worker. He was a foreman, and that was the only income. So his money had to go to bills. But I love fashion. I didn't see fashion anywhere. I just knew what I wanted things to look like. So because they didn't have a lot of money, I remember like it was yesterday. I went in the kitchen, and you remember the curtains that had the small curtain up top, and
Yeah,
then
cafe
the
curtains.
long one at the bottom.
Yeah, cafes.
Uh-huh. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I apologize. I thought I turned my phone off. I went in the kitchen, and there was lace on the bottom. So I didn't take the curtains down. I stood up in a chair, eighth grade, um, 8 years old, second grade. I cut all the lace off of all my mother's curtains. And I sewed pieces of the lace to the back of my jacket and all around the bottom of my skirt. I got a whooping, but that whooping only lasted what? 2-3 minutes tops, and I had me an outfit for the rest of the school year. So I didn't care about that whooping. Yeah, I could take a whooping. I had me an outfit, and I wore that bad boy to school, and that's when I knew there was something in me. You're not going to look like everybody else. I refuse to look like everybody else. And again, my parents didn't have a whole lot. So when I would see something that would catch my eye, I wouldn't stop until I did what was in my head. So, and I kept seeing these type of sleeves. I was like, how can I do that? So I went and got the material, and here it is. It's my butterfly wings. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So if somebody else bought the same jacket, they might have the sheer sleeves, but they won't have the wings because that's your.
I've seen a lady with the same jacket at karaoke a while ago, and she kept looking like, came over to me. She said, I have that jacket. I said, oh, okay. She said, but they don't have that. I said, no, I put this on. She was like, I was about to say, oh, I like that. So it makes me feel good because I don't do it for people. It's just in my head. I can go to the store and see something on the hanger and I'll say, if it had this on it and had that on it, yeah, same with shoes and jewelry, hair. Yeah. So
Did you make jewelry this morning?
yeah. And I'm surprised I'm not in the bed by now. I'm not tired at all. I got up, I'm a little after 12. Something tapped me. I mean, I got up right out of the bed. I had so much energy. I made over 20 bracelets. I painted 2 rings. Well, I made 4 rings. I painted 2. This is 1. It used to be an earring. I painted shades to match this, and 4 rings and over 20 bracelets. Yeah. When that thing hits me, I mean, it hits me like I can't stop. I can't stop. So
What do you think? What do you think? You said you know your assignment, right? So can you share, besides entertaining and edutaining, because I know every now and then they put you in Facebook jail because of some of the things that you say. But what do you feel is your mission? I mean, is your purpose? What do you? I mean, do you still aspire, say, to act to Tyler Perry, to say, yeah, I need her for my next my next piece, she could fit in as the so and so, or so. Where do you see yourself?
well, my assignment first and foremost, I learned what my assignment was when I was a little girl. I've always been a protector of people. Children would come get me when someone would bother them in school. They always came and got Roxanne. Mind you, I didn't talk a lot because I stuttered. And I wasn't going to talk to you a lot anyway. So I have an issue when it comes to somebody that has a disability, handicapped, is smaller than you, and you mess with them in front of me. Or if they come tell me that this has happened and I ask you, there's going to be a problem. I just have this thing about people being bullied because I was bullied for my stuttering, for my dark skin, for having muscles, having a booty. At a young age, I was called a horse. I was called Roxanne the man because of the muscles. I, I was flat chested forever. And all of the name calling really took its toll on me. But you got to remember, I smiled everything off.
Right.
I knew how to wear a smile. So I would take my frustration out when somebody would come to me and say, this person is bothering me. And that's how I was a protector. Until this day, I am a protector. So as far as my assignment, I know that I have so much light to share that it doesn't matter how much light I pour out into you, I'll never lose light. Never. I'll steady be. My spiritual guides, my angels, my ancestors are constantly refilling me with light and love. As much as I put out, they refill. As much as I put out, they refill. So I'm never going to lose that. I don't want to see anybody hurting. Um, I know for a fact that that is my assignment, to protect, to share my light and love. They say hurt people hurt people. Not everybody, because I don't like to see people hurting. Not everybody. Now, don't get me wrong. If you cross me, I'm a Pisces. If you cross me, but genuinely, generally, I'm a kind person. Just don't bother anyone in front of me. Um, as far as what I want to do with the rest of my days that I have left, I want to act. I wanted to be on Broadway, but that didn't work out. I want to act. I want to be, if just one time, if I have a walk on part, just give me that chance to get that walk on part, just so you can see my face and see it's something different. Because now I am aware that there is something different about me. Um, I always thought something was wrong with me. That's how I always looked at myself. Something is wrong with you. You don't fit in anywhere. Um, I'm not supposed to. The world says be yourself. And then when you be yourself, wait, don't be yourself like that. Well, now I'm to the point where I'm going to be myself. I want to act. Um, like I said, I did want to be on Broadway, but I want to act. That is my passion. I want, and as shy as I used to be, talking to you now has told me I can be in front of a camera. I'm I'm not nervous as I thought I would be. I'm actually, I feel good. I feel good. So I know if it came down to me auditioning, yeah, I have a stutter, but I know that I'll probably still be good for the part that I'm auditioning for. So I just want somebody to see she has something. Let's see what it is. Let's give her a chance. So if anybody out there knows somebody with some connections, let me know. Let me know, y'all.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe your buddy will see this and uh Peace, Sister Deborah. Yeah, maybe that's the audition. Since they said they had something for you, maybe that'll be the thing. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, so who knows? There could be somebody out there. And somebody asked what was in the chat. They wanted to know what was it? What does she have to advertise or promote? I think it's just yourself. Everybody that I have on the show, it doesn't necessarily have a product or a service. And for those of you who might just be tuning in, and especially you, Edward Spears, who feels like you're hearing gibberish and so forth, which I politely have offered you to be able to. You can log off. You don't have to stay on, bro. Um, she's my daughter. I have one daughter who is a spiritual daughter who, when you hear on Friday nights when Grand Chic is on, you hear the song Reawakening Minds. That is Maisha, who's doing, and Maisha is also a psychic. And so and then this daughter who is Roxanne, who does, the a myriad of things. So tonight we are having a chat really about how you can go from being suppressed and being and feeling small and insignificant to unleashing the warrior, if you will, in you, particularly in women. Roxanne and I went today to see the Woman King, and we loved it. And I don't know what all of the the upheaval on online is about, because it's, while it may not be, they have to take some poetic license when they do a movie. They
Right.
can't necessarily, unless somebody was there filming the original occurrences, which couldn't have been because it was like 1823. You're not going to have word for word and things for it, so you have to take some type of poetic license to give it something to put it on the air. But the gist of it is that what was going on during that time is that there was a group of from the Dahomey tribe. There was a I don't know what you call them, a whole regiment of Amazons. They were the original Amazons,
Yep.
and these women, and they were fierce as hell. You know,
Bad.
they was bad, and they and that's some of the with the war. The women are ready. I needed that energy. There's a sister. There's a song that we heard, "The Blood of My Sisters."
Oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness.
yeah, the blood of my sisters, because we need, these sisters would die for each other. These
Yep.
sisters, but they would also die to protect their king and their land. And those are some of the things that we want to make sure that in being and unleashing the warrior, if
Right.
in us, that we can begin to do likewise in this 21st century. But the weapons of our warfare, we're not using machetes, and we're not using spears and even guns and knives. It's not carnal, but we have
Right.
some suppressed abilities, like like I said, some of us see, like you, some of us know, like me, as an intuitive. Some of us are able to move things, and with our minds and so forth. So we're trying to speak to the warrior in each, even to the brothers, the warrior in you, whatever it is that is holding you back, whatever you feel that may have happened to you. Roxanne, if you didn't see here in the beginning, go back and listen to this at the beginning. Her life didn't start out easy. She's a baby of 7. I think there was such a gap between her older siblings, and when she and her sister came along, her older siblings were grown. And so she grew up in a situation where where the church was a refuge, like it has been with many of our communities, and where also a lot of bad things happen and people look the other way. And as a result of that, people suffer, people suppress who they are. So we're trying to encourage tonight. We're also saying, for those of you who have heard all of this stuff about the Woman King, and we're not getting paid for this, and said, oh well, I'm not gonna go, because it will.
Please go.
Please go. It will ignite something in you. It will light the spark. And that's, which reminds me, there was a part in the movie where the young sister had done the prank, and she got in trouble, and they wanted to know how she was able to make the gun, the boom go off. Remember, with the I guess you would call it the dummy that they use for practicing. And when the chips were down, Viola Davis remembered what the young lady said, and she said, "All you need is a spark.
All you need is a spark."
With the gun, you just need a spark." And this is what we are talking about tonight. We're trying to ignite a spark.
Yeah.
In you. I'm not going to come on here every time I'm on here and tell you about, especially not on my Tuesday night, about nationality and birthright. We done talked and talked and talked, and you'll hear that when she comes. There's other things that need to be talked about. And on this particular platform, on Dr. G's office hours, you're going to hear a little bit of everything. And then when you hear something that you don't like, I don't have a problem with you clicking off, but don't put no bull crap in there about the validity of what's being talked about. Heck, it's not for everybody, but it's for a lot of us. And the other thing that I realized, Roxanne, is that even with war, and the women are ready, in which we thank you for the 25 or so of you who have already signed up, and we are going to be getting to you very, very soon with our first, large, get together. But some brothers have expressed interest, and I thought about it. I said, back in the day, I was thinking the way we saw the World War Ones and twos, they showed all these men going off to war, and the women were home supporting the effort. They were making whatever they needed to make and sewing flags or making socks or uniform, whatever the heck. They supported the men in the war effort. Well, we women are saying that it is our divine time to step up and be who we used to be. We have been suppressed. We have, this movie is a reminder that we are warriors, and we are not the weaker sex. And so perhaps it is time for, we need your brother support. We're not trying to disclude you. Matter of fact, I like the fact that they were fighting together. There were some brothers in there fighting with them, but the front line battlers, they were women.
Yes, they were.
They were women. And that is not a fictitious situation. We just forgot who we were.
Right.
We've been suppressed. We've been brainwashed, and we've been, manipulated, bamboozled, right? Programmed, and made to think that we are the weaker sex.
Right.
We are, everything comes out of you get her, you get him, he comes out of her, right?
Right.
He comes out of she. But we all got to work together. I'm not saying that, the brothers, no, you all need to be doing something too. But we're saying that we have really are reclaiming our divine assignments and looking to come together and to create situations and outcomes. I'm not so concerned, Roxanne, about all of what happens in between. I'm more concerned about the bottom line, if you will. What is it that we are in game?
Right.
So if our end game, say, is to reclaim our land on a universal level, then that's where we're focused. We're talking about women coming together with one mind. One purpose. We're talking about the mastermind being a one mind. We're not talking about who's in charge. The one mind.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. And yeah, there's some sidebar things. Roxanne wants to be an actress, and she's a damn good actress. She's an awesome, entertainer, a singer, rapper, artist, creative individual. And you do need, this should be your time to shine. And somebody will see this, and I just decree that somebody will see it that has something, an opportunity that even if it's a play, you know what I mean?
Right. Anything right now.
Right. So yeah, that's what we're saying. And I know I might have been seemingly on a soapbox for a minute, but when the brother put something in there about gibberish and silly, I'm like, clean your ears out, bro, or go somewhere and listen to another channel. You know what I mean? This is not what this is about. This is about encouraging male and female to not live beneath your purpose. And Roxanne, you are an example of coming out of some stuff. You know what I mean? You are a living example. I know you. I've known you. I don't know how many years it's been. Like, I don't know, how old was Shaquan? Now he's grown now with children.
When we first started in the ministry, Legend was 3.5, maybe going on 4, and he'll be 20 October 2nd.
So okay. And speaking of Legend, tell us about your son, your youngest son, Legend, and when he was he's Legend L, and when did he correct his status, and when did he come to you and tell you that it needed to be corrected?
He came to me when he was probably in kindergarten. His birth name was Jai, Jai apostrophe, Ty Lee. And he came to me, it was about kindergarten, maybe first grade, and he said that Jai was not his name. And I said, it is, your dad named you. And he said, I don't want a name from a man who's not around, Mommy. And I said, but your dad gave you that name. He said, no, I'm not a Jai. And I asked him, well, what's your name? And he used to have this thing where he would point to his head and say, when my head tells me, I'll tell you. He came back to me probably in the second grade, 8 years old now, and told me that his head had told him what his name was. And I said, well, what's your name? He said, Legend L. I said, L like the letter L? He said, no, E-L, in second grade. And I said, well, how do you know you're an L and not a Bay? He said, you might be a Bay, but I'm an L. So he already knew. He was already remembering who he was. And he stayed on me for the next year. He would not let it rest. Jai is not my name. I want my name changed to Legend L. And we finally went to the courthouse and did what we needed to, had to put it in the newspaper for his father. And now he's Legend L. And I'll never forget, when we walked out of the courtroom, he exhaled and he said, finally, Mommy, I can breathe. I got my real name. And from that day, he was always on the honor roll. He's never, ever been in trouble. I've never had to, we don't argue. He's very respectful. He's everything you would want in a young man to call your son. And let me rewind just a little bit. He's also a medium. I had a son that passed away back in 94. Legend wasn't born until 2002. He used to play with his brother. He called him his baby brother. And I said, no, Albert is older than you. You're the baby. He said, no, Albert is the baby, Mom. And I tried to tell him, you're my last born. You're the baby. He said, well, he's a baby. And I play with him. He described him. It got to the point where Albert used to follow Legend to school. I got a phone call from the school because Legend had hit a little girl. And that's not Legend. Went to the school and I found out he didn't hit her per se. He pushed her off of the seat because he said that the little girl was sitting on his brother Albert. And he pushed her off of his baby brother. So I talked to him and I asked him, can you tell Albert not to come with you to school anymore? And he did. And that was the last time he's ever seen his brother. So I don't know if Albert's feelings were hurt or if he just respected him enough and just went back into the stars. But he's never seen him again. He used to play with him. He used to play checkers. He would lay on one side and he would go around to the other side and say, no, Albert, this is how you do it. And I thought he was just, his imaginary friend. Not when he described him. He knew it was his baby brother. Even though he was born in 93, passed in 94. He was born in 2002. So it couldn't have been his baby brother. But as he saw him still, it was in baby form. So he's a special child as well. I can go on and on about his intuition, telepathy, deja vu. He said he's been in Delaware before. He said, Mommy, this may be your first time being here. I've already been here. So the gifts run in my children. I'm just grateful.
Well, you have, when I first, met Shaquan, he played drums for us. And then he played a little bit with the keyboard.
Yes.
Then you're Bree, your daughter Bree is a rapper.
A singer.
She's a singer and rapper.
To dance with me too, you remember?
Yeah, but she's making her mark in the hip hop world. She's with So, and it's running in your family. I'm looking at some of the comments. Yeah. If anyone has any questions, I'm trying to look to see. I know some of you are just putting comments, but if you have any questions, please feel free to put, legitimate questions in the comments, and I'll see if we can, let me see what this. If you girls ain't talking about the Bible and the Father of God, or Holy Jesus Christ, then what are you talking about? Why are you misleading people with all this confusion? That's the God's messenger. Here's what I'm going to do for you, baby girl, boy, or whoever you are. I'm going to block you, right? Because this ain't that kind of rodeo. Bye. You know what? I'm serious. You first of all, we grown women,
right?
So we
about the Bible and Jesus.
We need to talk about if we talk about the Bible, we need to talk about all of the misinterpretation and the way it was written and taught to people to suppress and oppress people to this day.
Right.
So, we are very clear on, we've been to that. I have a doctorate in that stuff, a doctorate degree.
Sure do.
So, what this is not that. So, that is a shame. How can here's a question. Let me put this up here. Good. I'll just put that next. Let's put it up here. The question is, he's gone. Whoever he or she or whatever that was. I think. Here we are. Question. How can we connect to our assignments?
My answer to that is doing your shadow work, self-examining, forgiving. That will put you in tune with your ancestors, your spiritual guides, your angels, your spiritual team, as I call it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do the necessary work on yourself, then things will begin to align, and you will begin to be able to literally hear when they speak to you. They'll give you signs. They'll talk to you. They'll send people to talk to you about what you should be doing or what they see in you that may connect to what your ancestors have shown you, have told you. But some people, it's just natural. They just know. They just know. But meditation is something very, very helpful. Getting Reiki done, even just not even meditation or any of those things, just sitting quietly.
Mindfulness.
Yes, and listening, because they do talk to you. They will answer your questions. Just sitting and listening. That's what we don't do a lot. We're always on the go. We want to talk. Just listening. Some of you are already walking in your assignments and don't even know it. You don't even know it. You're already walking in. If you find yourself doing a lot of a certain thing, that's your assignment. That's your assignment. I'm talking about good stuff now. I'm talking about good stuff. I always found myself protecting people. I always found myself showing love. I always found myself being the encourager. I don't know what took place in my last lifetime, but I know in this lifetime, that is what I am called to do. No matter what goes on in my life, I'm going to show love regardless. I'm going to share my light regardless. I'm going to encourage regardless. I'm not revengeful. I'm not evil. Could have been. I could have been with some of the stuff that I've dealt with, but don't cross my mind. Why would I need to step into something when I have a spiritual team that can handle all of that while I'm going forward on my journey, making a mark? So that's where I'm focused on. But sitting quietly, meditating, even grounding.
Yeah.
But first you got to heal. Well, you know what? Part of your assignment may be your healing may take place in your assignment, like mine did. While I was dancing, when I sing, when I talk to other people, I'm also healing. So it can come about that way as well. But you have to do some shadow work. You have to. You have to. You got to look at yourself and forgive. Mom Naila knows that I was diagnosed with cancer years ago. You remember, Mom? They said I had cancer in both of my breasts. And I found out it wasn't true. It wasn't true. But I still went and got the biopsy done. But I found out because of all the bitterness that I was carrying, all the hurt, it can attack your body in the physical sense.
Absolutely.
So you got to heal. You got to heal. You got to forgive others and forgive yourself. And then that assignment, it'll be aligned. It will be aligned.
Yeah, that's important. Let me see if there's. I think I saw some another question or comment, but yeah, Lori Brown's a comment probably. Yes, shadow work is paramount. Healing, I think she means healing, not healing. Comes then your downloads come once you're free from the matrix. Mindfulness. Yeah, yeah, that is good. You know, I I was looking when you were talking about listening and quietly and all that, and I grabbed this, and y'all don't judge me. I'm going to share something. I wrote this when I think I was just still in the church when I wrote this poem, and so it ended up in my book back in 2013. But it speaks to, you know, you'll hear the word Lord and you'll hear prayer, but think of it as let prayer be meditation, right? And it says it's called two-way conversations. So this is what you're saying. It says, Lord, we know how to bend our knee in prayer and supplication, but help us to understand that prayer's a two-way conversation.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk to you, and you could be talking to your higher self, when we talk to you, all we seem to do is pour out our wants and needs on you. It seems we never take time to hear what's on your mind, and perhaps the answer would come through if we spent more time with you in two-way conversation. Lord, teach us how to pray, commune with you each day, hear the words you long to speak, strength to spirits that are weak. Lord, teach us to be still in the center of your will, to listen to your voice that keeps our lives on course in two-way conversation. It seems we never take the time to hear what's really on your mind. Perhaps the answer would come through if we spent more time with you in two-way conversation. That's meditation.
Mm-hmm.
In the non-church world, that's meditation.
Right.
That's listening. What they would call it even listening prayer. In other words, don't throw out a laundry list to the Most High or your guides and all, and then get up and walk away.
Right.
And just
Right.
take care of that. Well, no. Wait in contemplation. You'll hear the still small voice. It sounds like you.
Yes, you
So
right. Yes, you will.
guidance and direction as far as how to move.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, you will.
Yes. And so it's a matter of not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We call it something else now, meditation. But even in meditation, you have to be still and hear the still small voice, which is within you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we ignore that. Like I said, we busy. We didn't already pray. We already supplicated. Now do it. And you're waiting for the outcomes, but you might have heard that it was something else you had to do.
And a lot of people think that their answer is going to come from here, and they miss it. Yeah, because they're expecting it to come from here, and here. Yes. And it's right in your face, and you missed it. So now I'm learning. When I'm learning, I walk in. It's a daily routine for me. I do not move unless the ancestors, my guides, angels direct me to. I do not move. I don't go certain places. I don't respond to certain things. If they tell me no, then that's what it is. I don't move. And if they say, go ahead, Roxanne, it's everything is fine. And then I go. Even with this, I didn't want to do it because of my nerves, and the shyness was trying to take over me. The fear was trying to take over me. And I heard them say, this is your season. Walk in it.
Absolutely.
Didn't you dance to walk in your season?
Yes.
Don't you dance to walk in your season? Well, now it's yours. This is why I'm sitting right here. You have to listen. You have to. And be obedient. Things that you may not want to do, that they're telling you to do, it's for a reason. You have to be obedient, but you have to listen. You have to listen. And they hear you. I promise you, they hear you. They hear you. Write out your affirmations, write out your supplications, write your things out and make it plain so you can see them as well. Lay them on your altar. They see it. They'll recognize it. I'm a witness to it. I promise you. I promise you.
Right. They want to hear that we need them. I mean, I heard a brother on, I can't even remember his name, but he was on Black Magic 363, and he said something about when you need strength and power. He said, call on Archangel Michael and say, and request that Archangel Michael would take your hand and give you or lend you his strength. And I was like, really, to myself. And I did it, and literally every time I did it, say I would, not this isn't heavy, but say I was having trouble lifting this water bottle up. And then I would go, Archangel Michael, please give me your strength and help me lift this bottle, take my hand and do it. And then the bottle would go, whoops, or if it'd be something heavy. I couldn't lift the bottle. One day my garbage disposal fell out from under the sink. It came unhooked. And I was so upset. I called Grand Sheik. I was like, my garbage disposal came undone. I pulled everything out from under the sink. It was heavy. He said, you got to get it up like this. I could not do it for about a half an hour. And then something said, remember, Archangel Michael has more strength than you. So I called on Archangel Michael and asked for his strength. Went zoop, zoop. And I would have struggled for a half hour. And then it just went up like somebody else's hand did it. And I'm saying, I don't care what anybody thinks. I know it worked for me. I know it works for me. And so it's certain things that we have to get away from thinking, I don't know if I don't know what complexion or hue Archangel Michael is, or whatever, whether he got wings or whether or not he's rainbow striped.
Right,
but I know when I ask for that additional help, I get it. Tangible.
Same here. Yes.
I feel it. I can do things that I couldn't do prior to, and then I say thank you. You can let me know now.
Acknowledging them. Yes.
Right. And I think so. You do that with your ancestors and your spirit guides and so forth too. But I heard the brother on the show saying that, and I put it to the test.
And I do libations and everything.
Yeah.
Do you do libations?
No, I don't. Although over here it's funny. I was putting out, I had a little altar over here for my grandpa's picture, my pop-up's picture, and I asked the spirits at one time, I couldn't remember what my pop-up drank, but my pop-up drank, right? So I heard Johnny Walker Red or something like that, and I bought a bottle, and he pretty much drank the whole bottle. So I just straight up looking over there, and nobody in here drinks. But that bottle, which I dedicated on that little altar for my papa, is going down now. Somebody's drying up, but it's in the bottle and it's sealed up. Now the glass part, the shot glass, I mean that dried up, but the part in the bottle is just like going down, like you haven't put anything lately. So I don't know.
You put what they drink, you put what they eat.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
I do the same thing, and I'll go on my, I'll go by my altar and I'll look like, wow, y'all been sipping. Yeah, I see you've been sipping today. It's just a little less in the cup, a little less wine in the cup today. Y'all been sipping. Mm-hmm. Yep. You honor them, they will honor you in return.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Here, Apple says, yes, I have called on the spirit of the internet so I can always search for what I want and I find it. Hey,
Whatever works for you.
Appalachian Joel, if it works, yep. The herbal goddess. Wow, you are the second person this month to say that about Archangel Michael. I guess this is confirmation for me. Yeah, try it. It works for me. It absolutely works for me. And I mean, I didn't have to do it 10 times with the work. It worked first time and it's worked every
Immediately.
time. Immediately
Yep.
when I ask, and then I say thank you.
Yep.
When it's all said and done. So, but when we recognize that we have these, this help. The thing about the help, the spiritual help, is that they don't impose themselves on us. In other
Right.
words, you don't ask, they don't. It's not that they don't want to, but you seem to be doing fine without their assistance. And there are many times when we probably wouldn't have to have struggled about something, except we don't acknowledge the help that is there for us.
Right there. Right there.
Right, to turn lives around. Like I said, you are an example of a 180-degree turnaround, because we don't do 360s, because that puts us right back where we
Right
started.
back where we started.
To turn, from 16 years ago or so, 16 years ago when we first, connected, and we had that, that mother-daughter connection to right up to this day.
Yeah.
You have blossomed, and you have, like I said, the fact that I said you don't give a, what, the reason why I say that, and I say that proudly, is because there used to be a time when you did, when you did care about what others said, and
yes,
it did slow down your progress, impede your progress.
a whole lot. And there's nothing that I could do. How can I put it? I allowed it because I was unsure of myself. So I allowed it for years, knowing that I had this in me or that in me. But if that person said that I couldn't do something, I couldn't do it, because they said that I couldn't. I took it on for myself and I couldn't do it. Now you can say whatever you want. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to get things done. I'm pressing forward every single day. And that old Roxanne, I know she's proud of me. I know she's probably saying, it's about time. Golly, it's about time, girl.
Well, Roxanne, who was sitting on the cloud and picked you up?
That was you. And I did not want to come to Delaware. I'm from up near the shore. I didn't want to come to Delaware. My sister was here first, and we were close. Come to Delaware. Came to Delaware, and I don't like this place. And met you walking to the store. Y'all were having artistic expression that night. I remember like it was yesterday. And from that point, I told you I wasn't dressed like I wanted to be dressed to come into the sanctuary, and I would be back. And I think my son, my oldest son, beat me back.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that he had already met you. He beat me back. So it was already divinely connected, divinely timed. And this was my reason for coming over that bridge, so I can meet you. And I'm so grateful to you. You know that. You know this not for the internet, not for social media. You already know. I've told you. I'm so grateful to you for stepping out, because then I was able to step out. I said, finally, Mom is done. She's out the box. Now I can be. She's out the box. Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't going anywhere.
I didn't know I was in a box, until the box opened up and kicked me out.
Right.
The box kicked me out. So it's like it was divine time. It's like, okay, you've been here long enough. Now it's time for you to come and do what you really came to do. Now get busy.
I
And
saw it
it
coming.
was
I
like
saw
I
it
said,
coming. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I didn't.
I saw it coming.
And actually, I saw a change in the somebody else's ministry, our overseer down in Virginia. I saw that and I spoke that, but I didn't see what was coming for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not see that. And so as a result of that, but like I said, there's always somebody who has an assignment to push us into purpose. Some of you, hopefully what we're talking about, maybe it's pushing you into some place that you're not. You might be kicking and screaming going there, but somebody has to give you a little divine push. Sometimes it's seemingly something that's painful, like you said. It could hurt. you know People have gotten fired, lost their jobs, and
Yeah.
then started their own businesses and then been super successful, but it never would have had happened if they hadn't have had these, the failures in their life, so-called. But they could take what they learned, and they had what do you call it, they had enough impetus, if you will, motivation.
Right.
Not having a job would be motivation. If you're not getting any other kind of income, you will be highly motivated to do something.
Right.
you know and so, but you don't have to get there. Sometimes it's not even that major. It's oh, someone was asking if you had a website or SoundCloud to see or hear your art.
No. To sing in a band, but that's about it. No.
We're gonna have to put together, get her to put together her own page, but you can follow her on Facebook under Roxsaine Barnes. The Bey's not there. Roxsaine Barnes. So write that down. Look for her on Facebook and send her a friend request. I don't know if you got any space on there for more friends, but you may have to send her a message and say, "Saw you on Dr. G's show." Otherwise, she might get an influx and say, "I don't know who this is."
You already know that's me.
Right? Yeah, she might say, send a message and say, "Saw you on Dr. J." But we are doing, as I said early, we're just doing our best to motivate, and we're just having a discussion, and hopefully, by listening in on this discussion, somebody here is being motivated to step into their purpose, to fulfill their purpose, their destiny. You're dragging your feet. If you're procrastinating, right? So this might be just a divine nudge for you. Let me see. I've never visited Delaware. Spirit has saying, take a trip. I love road trips. Kind of ready to leave California. I'd leave California too. I, Sister Lori, I said I would leave California. I don't know if I'd come to Delaware, maybe to for a visit. But I've been there my life. So, I'm a little, partial to it, because when you haven't been, I've been places. I've been about 22 states. Somebody posted and said, name all this, put an airplane beside all the states you slept in. And I think I came up with 22 states.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, 22 states. I had to think about it. But I really have only lived here in Missouri and in Massachusetts when I was in the military in Missouri. So, but here I've lived here.
Wait, you were in Fort Leonard Wood?
Yes, I was in Fort Lost in the Woods.
So was I. I was Fort Lost in the Woods.
Yes.
Wow.
I was.
I'm just finding that out now. That's wow, Mom. Wow. Yep. I did not know that.
Just giving game. I'm in Delaware too. Okay. At Two Fresh Juices. Okay. You right where we are. We're in Delaware. 222. Is that an area code? No, our area code is 302. All over the state, 302. Right? 302. I don't know what 222 means, but Delaware. we the 302.
302.
Yeah, so I don't know. But they have to know where they are. Greetings, Dr. G. Please ask. Okay, here we go. Let me put this up as a question. Let me put this up. How does she know who to be patient with and whom to let go? I'm a healer seer as well as an in tune, as well as being in tune, I guess, with her spirit guides, but I have challenging challenge hearing my voice versus the ancestors at times. So how you different?
I like that question because there have been people that I have let go of. You know this personally, Mom.
Yes.
And I have been friends with them 5, 10, or 15 years. But I knew that they meant me no good rather. There's a feeling that you get. Your knower will pick it up and will relay that message to your head and to your heart. And then it's going to be up to you to do the work as far as allowing them to stay in your life, or you do the hard work and say, know what? I got to go. I got things I have to do. Um, you'll know when I let certain people go, I didn't miss them. I don't mean to say it like that, but that's the truth. I never miss them. That's how I know that I was obedient. It wasn't me just being in my feelings or something like that, because I don't work off of feelings. I know for a fact, and this person that I was speaking of, Mom Naila, knows she was like my big sister. And there are just people you have to let go. I've had to let go of family. I've had to let go of guys that I really liked, but I knew that they meant me no good. You can't hold on just because it feels safe. Um, it feels better. Your knower will inform you of what you need to rid yourself of. But again, you got to be obedient. You can't say, "Oh no, not them, not him, not her." No, you got to be obedient. And there have been so many people that I've had to let go of because there's somewhere that I have to go. And I don't mean so much in the physical, but in my growth, in the spiritual realm, mentally. There's somewhere that I'm going. And those that I thought was going to be coming with me, they're not. But that knower, you got to listen to it. You got to be obedient to it. And if it tells you something is for a reason, you can't fight against it. You can't fight against it and hold on to it. Because we've been friends for 20 years. No, you got to let it go. So being obedient and your voice telling you that is what it is. They're speaking to you using your voice, if that makes any sense to you. But you'll know. You'll know.
I agree with you when it comes to letting folks go, because I'm when I'm done with it, when I really have had enough of whatever's going on that's difficult for me, and I can let go. It's like that person never existed. Like you said, I don't think about them, and maybe that's because us two Pisces, but I don't think about them.
Think about them.
They're gone. It's like they're in another. I don't even know if they're in another dimension because I don't think about them. They're just not in my world anymore.
Yep, right.
So I don't have any angst about, I didn't talk to so and so in a long time. It doesn't matter. They're gone, and that's just the way it is, And it hurt. It helps it not to hurt.
I used to hold on to people so I wouldn't hurt their feelings.
Me too.
But I was hurting my own feelings. I did it for so long. I just felt like I had to be that person to make everybody happy, but I wasn't happy. But now that I know that I have to be happy first, I have to be, I got to take care of Roxanne first. And if it's removing everybody, then it's going to be everybody. Everybody has to go right now. I got to do a clearing. Everybody has to go because I have work that I have to do. So, but you'll know, sister, that nowhere is no joke. There's no joke. And if you don't be obedient, they will bring something back around to you that you wish you had to listen the first time. Ooh, you wish you had to listen. So
Normally you have windows of opportunity, especially numerological windows when things are ending and beginning, like 9 years, and like when you're in a 9 cycle, a lot of times that's endings, and you miss that window of opportunity. Now you got to go all through a whole one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight
yeah.
before you get there again, and here you go like, dang it. Then you
Mm-hmm.
realize, and most, like you say, most of the time it is because you don't want to hurt somebody else, but you put yourself on the altar of sacrifice just for someone else when they probably would have gotten over you letting them go easier than it is for you to hold on to them.
Right, right. I'm to the point now where I'm in a selfish type season, meaning I got to get this healing done. It's now or never. I have to get this healing done. I want this healing. I want the newness. Um I want the restoration. I want the rebuilding. I want to do away with anything that serves me no purpose. And again, if that's getting rid of everybody, then that's what I'm going to do, because I have to work on me, solely on me. Everything that I do is to benefit me in a healthy manner, so I can be better for somebody else, because I know on this journey there are going to be people that's going to need my word, or what I've been through, to help them to get through. And it sounds good when you're talking about it, but people can tell if you're only talking. I want to do the work. I want to do the work. And that's the path and journey that I'm on right now, doing the work. Nothing feels better right now than, I've had some good times in my life. I felt good in my life, had a lot of sadness, but right now, I am so at peace. I'm mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, physically healthy. Oh my goodness. I wake up happy every day. It's possible. It's possible. When things come to try and tear me down, I don't let it mess up my entire day, because that's what I used to do. Now I'm like, okay. And I go on about my day, because I'm not letting a moment out of my day mess up my entire day. It's no more of that. I want to be happy. I want to heal. And this journey, this healing journey has not been so bad. Like, people make things, oh, it's a whole bunch of sadness and healing. It's actually not. It's actually not. It's not a whole bunch of sadness and healing. It's really not. So for all of you that are watching, that are in the process of, you're stepping into forgiving people and yourselves, the first few months and even years, woo, that's where it's rough. That's where it's rough. That's where you're going to be tested. Is this what you really want? Do you really want to heal? Because you're going to be tested, and you're going to you're going to have to go backwards. You may go backwards with your anger and acting out, and you're going to say to yourself, this stuff ain't working. If you stay the course, oh, it does work. Your affirmations, you got to write them out. You got to say them. You got to say them with meaning. You got to say it with authority. Your shadow work, your meditation, your grounding, sitting quietly, even in a tub of water, just sitting quietly. Water is a purifier, even in a tub of water.
Getting out in nature.
Oh, and you know how much I love nature. I don't know how I forgot that. So it's a process. It's a process, and you may take a whole lot of steps back. A whole lot of steps back from time to time. You're going to find yourself arguing with somebody and then be like, oh my God, I thought I had grown more than this. You have. It was just a situation. Don't let it control your entire day. Don't let it control you. Gotta move forward. Gotta move forward. I feel really, really good. Really good.
Let me
Read.
That's great. TLS, that's great. That is great. Yes, here's someone says, "Oh my gosh, that's me. I used to be shy and still stutter sometimes because my parents put fear in me when I was younger."
Wow.
Yeah, here's another one. Speak on it, sis. If you hold on to things that no longer serve you, you will repeat and recycle pain. Yes, learn to be selfish. Self-love is key. Yeah.
That's the season I'm in right now. I'm not a selfish type person, but that's the season that I'm walking in right now. I have to be. I have to be. And don't get me wrong, people will still come at you. Situations will still arise. Stay focused. Don't sway to the left or to the right. Stay focused. Stay focused. You got to remember your goal. My goal, complete healing. Complete healing. I've met people before and they would be so happy. And I'll be like, ain't no way nobody is that happy all the time. Yes, you can. Yes, you can be. I'm telling you, I wake up in the morning like, good morning, ancestors. Good morning, angels. Good morning, spiritual guides. Yes. And I'll be bouncing around like, good morning, y'all. I'm happy. I'm grateful. I've come a long way. And y'all don't know me, but for me just to sit in front of this computer years ago, yeah, right. I will give every excuse as to why I couldn't do this. Nope. And I've come to realize, I've looked in the mirror, it's a part of who I am. You have a speech impediment. Okay. I was married, had 4 children. Dang, stop my yeah, right. I had a speech impediment then too when I was married. When I said I do, I had a speech impediment. When I had my 4 children, I had a speech impediment. So stop anything. I was stopping me. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. When I say ashamed to speak because I knew somebody was going to laugh, I don't care anymore. I don't care. I don't care. No one's perfect anyway. You can just hear mine when you talk. That's all. I don't care. I got bigger things to worry about right now. So.
Yeah. Lori Brown says, thank you, Dr. G. This conversation is refreshing and necessary. Thank you, Sister Lori. Because like I said earlier, everything isn't about a process like on paper. Some of it is just having a dialogue and talking to real people about real situations that let you see that you too, there's nothing wrong with you that it can't be solved or fixed. You know what I mean? That you may be down, but you're not out.
Because then I ask you, I said, what kind of questions are you going to ask me? I was trying to be prepared.
And what I tell you?
I was trying to be prepared because the first thing that comes up in my head when someone wants to interview me is, I'm going to stutter. I'm going to stumble over my words. They're not going to want to listen. That's the first thing. And it came about again. But this time, y'all, it didn't stop me. It didn't stop me, but I'm telling you.
And I told you, I don't give questions. I told you I don't provide questions in advance because I like to have a real organic conversation. I don't like stage conversations because you got to go with the flow of the energy Right. And that can change, but in an instant. So you got to be able that that's how I was when I preached a lot. I was like, I can't write no sermon like
Right,
that.
right.
But I can't. I got to be able to make changes because somebody might come in and all of a sudden Spirit says you need to speak this because it's for them. And if I already got the thing written, I'm like, I can't do that. I'm sorry, they have to come back next week. I'll tell me what they need, but this you don't do that. And so I'm glad that you decided to come on, even though I told you I wasn't going to give you any questions in advance because I don't know what I was going to ask you.
And I appreciate that. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, this has helped me so much. I didn't think I could do this. I really don't. I really didn't. When she asked me, instantly say no. And my mouth said yes. It wasn't me. It was my ancestors and angels because they know Roxanne was going to say no. Even though Roxanne knows it's her time, they made sure I'm walking in my season.
And Will says, "You look amazing, Roxanne. It's your time." She said, "Just
oh, thank you. I received that. Thank you." Yeah, this has
Here's another one says, "God is getting ready to take your place back."
wow. I received that. I received that. It's been a long road. And let me tell y'all, it hasn't been a year. It hasn't been 5 years. It's been about 10 or 12 years that I have been working on myself. Coming from an abusive relationship where I was almost killed by an ex. I was stalked by him. I was raped by him. We didn't even cover that, Mom. I was raped by him. I couldn't talk about that years ago. I can talk about it now. It doesn't affect me anymore. Before, I couldn't talk about it without crying or getting angry. Now, it's just another part of my life that I made it through. I made it through.
And you know what else, Roxanne? When you can look back and realize that we have a hand in planning the experiences of each lifetime, even though we forget them most of the time when we get here, we forgot what it is that we said yes to. When you think in terms of, okay, I agreed to go through this because this experience was going to, now you might want to say, was supposed to do what? What was this experience for? Most high, why did I say yes to the, being, abused? Why did I say yes to, being, impoverished or whatever? But it all in the end works for your good when you do or go through whatever it is you have to go through and can look back on it and say, I didn't get stuck in it. I went through it.
I went through it.
But I came out on the other side. And that's the most important thing, I think, for a lot of folks, that we get stuck in stuff.
I hear people say, I should be dead right now. I stopped saying that. I shouldn't be dead right now. Yes, he tried to kill me, but I shouldn't be dead right now because that wasn't part of the plan. So I've heard, from what I've been through, I should be dead. Nope. Because if you had died back then, you wouldn't be here to tell the story. And I know for a fact that I was built to go through all that stuff that I signed up for. And when I think about I signed up for that stuff, sometimes I'll be like, what in the world? Who signs up to get beat by a dude? Who signs up to why, Roxanne, why would you get signed up to be bullied? Why would I have signed up to be a stutterer?
Because maybe in a previous incarnation we were the beater, we were the ones that made fun of the stutterer. You know what I mean? We were the ones that. So there's two sides to everything. So you got to experience both ends of the spectrum, if you will. So if you were abused, then you probably next time sign up to be an abuser.
Right.
And now you got a balance. You're like, okay. And then there was an old song about God that said there is no failure in God, but I like to say that there is no failure in us.
In us.
Because we whatever we do, even what looks like imperfection, is a part of the perfect plan of the Most High.
Right. Perfect
Right.
plan.
Perfect. And we got hand in it. And I'm not preaching. I'm talking about in a universal sense. We say, yep, okay, this is the part. Actually, you want to be an actress. Guess what? We are all actors. That song said the whole world is a stage and everybody plays a part.
Who sings that song? It's a group.
Yeah, the whole world is a stage. Yeah, that one. But yes, it says, everybody plays a part. And so we are playing our various roles, and we had to, we wrote ourselves in some pretty tough parts sometimes. That's the truth of the matter.
Right.
We wrote some pretty tough roles because we're good actors and actresses, and that in this universe, we on this universal studio, this universal stage, and the key of it, the thing of it is, do you get the ball at the end of the act? You do, and you can get new roles if you want. You can do rewrites if you want, edits and all of that. But most of all, as a divine being, we know that we never ever, we never die. We never, our essence and our energy is forever, whatever part is playing.
Right.
That much, like I said, I know. I told you I was listening to Lunel, the comedian, talking about how much she don't want to die, but then she was kind of talking about how, but we don't really die when we die. So she was kind of working. I'm watching her on this 30-some minute live stream she's doing, and she was working through it. She said, well, everybody has to. I don't want to. Everybody has to. And she was talking about some of her friends that, David Arnold, who had the comedian that just passed, and some guy named somebody Red that were her friends that just passed. And she was saying, but I don't want to die, but she worked her way through it. I have to. You know what I mean? But we don't end. Death is a part of life. So while you've got this life, make sure that you do everything that you said you would do before you make an exit. Stage left or right, whatever. Make sense?
That's true, yes.
Somebody said that was the Persuaders. Thank you, Richard Payton.
Yes. Life is a stage. We all are actors. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Somebody says, yeah, you were looking at the happy ending. Yeah. Well, yeah, we just go to the underworld.
This helped me so much. You don't even know, Mom. It helped me so much to be able to speak without feeling like, oh, I'm being laughed at, or it just, I know that I can do it now.
Absolutely. And this audience is a universal. They're all over the country, and some of them are not even in. Some that view this, this live stream are in other countries, the UK and the Caribbean and so forth. They're all across the United States, and even though it's a good number, I see two, and then a 2. 222 on YouTube and 2 online. They've jumped up to 2 more.
Wow.
But those numbers, that's even. Oh, I'm blurry. Where'd I go?
Ooh.
Where am I?
What happened? Ooh.
I don't know.
Oh, but you went to another realm.
I was like, where am I? I can't find myself. But I just know that you're going to, this is going to help even the ones that are going to see this in replay. So again, I want to thank you, dear, for coming on. And before we go out, I want to make sure you all see I made a little, I got this little thing in the background to remind you about the war, signing up for the war. The women are ready. And I want to put that up here somewhere so you can see where the text, please, somewhere. If I can find it, y'all. Okay, here we go. I changed it. So, and I also want to remind you that if you haven't, go see The Woman King. And also, because it'll help with what, we're going to be doing with the war. And also get Mama Callie's book. Here we go. It's on, sorry about that, y'all. It's on Amazon. Global Transformations: The Rise of Feminine Power and the Ascension of the Ethiopian King. Some of you have gotten your book already. That's kind of required reading, if you will, for us. But if you have Kindle, it is available on Kindle, although we want to support Mama Callie, but it's available on Kindle. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's actually free. You can read it for free. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, otherwise, get the book, please. And we will be getting with you very, 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 very shortly. I thank you all for the honor and respect that you have given to my daughter Roxanne. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Y'all, this has been a healing experience for me even the more. You have no idea. You have no idea. Thank you for your beautiful words of encouragement, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
All right then. Well, listen, thank you all. Mother, where can we also get Taj's lesson book now? I don't know. We got to figure it out. We're trying to get his books reprinted, y'all. We don't. Some of them are available. I don't know if the lesson book 9 is there, but some books you can get. Let me put the link up. Right here. A little bit further. Where's the link? Okay, you can get. Let me run that. Let me let this go back. So you can get some of his books through Grand Storia Bay. And let me just let that run through. Okay, right here at circle7publishing.com. www.circle7publishing.com. All right, y'all. All right, then. Listen, Roxy, I love you to life.
I love you more, Mom.
Thank you so much. Take this link and send it to all your friends and your frenemies. Post it on your page on your page so they can actually see this interview, because now it'll be up on YouTube. And again, I am grateful to each and every one of you. And there are folks saying, thank you, Dr. G and Roxanne. Got to get my book. Yep, got to get your book. Yes. Thank you so much, Andre Rex. I like this. Andre Renard Mexican says, I'm manifesting bliss for war. That's what we need. We need the brothers. We need your support. We need your support so that we can do the work that we are supposed to do. This work y'all supposed to do, but we're going to be doing the work that we need to be doing. Right? All right. And TLS says, she is beautiful. That's a good way to go. Yes, she is. She's a beautiful goddess, a beautiful goddess. So we want to thank you so much. And don't she look like in this here? Don't she look like Viola Davis in this picture? All right, y'all. We going out of here. We going out of here. Thank you so much. Dr. G. Really? Who's she? Yeah, that's me. Dr. G. Really? Who's she? Yeah, that's me. Dr. G. Really? Who's she? Yeah, that's me. Dr. G. Yeah, that's me. Dr. G. Really? Who's she? Yeah, that's me.